Here at Healing Hands of Nebraska, we pride ourselves on not just being radically unconventional, but also on being radically transparent. You deserve to know what your healthcare is going to involve. Not just from a medical standpoint, not just from a surgical standpoint. You deserve to know from a financial standpoint. It's only fair. I like the fact that when I come to see you, I know exactly what it's going to cost me, and it's pretty affordable. We've had a growing number of patients who have expressed that sentiment, who have come in looking for price transparency because they don't like being blindsided anymore by their medical bills. They want to know what it's going to cost, and they're often pleasantly surprised to discover that what we offer is not just cutting edge, but also affordable and accessible. Most patients seeking medical care don't know how health insurance works. And as a result of that, they feel like they don't know how healthcare works. Now, the two are tied to each other, but they're not the same thing. Having health insurance doesn't mean you have healthcare, and having healthcare doesn't mean you have health insurance necessarily. Sometimes you have both, sometimes you have neither. Here at Healing Hands of Nebraska, we want to simplify that process, and that's exactly what we've done. We've simplified the delivery of healthcare. We cut out the middleman, we cut out the insurance companies so that you as the patient decide what you're going to get done, whether or not you're going to do it. You don't need prior authorization in order to get care here with us. As a matter of fact, that's a term that we don't typically use because we don't deal with prior authorization. We don't deal with insurance companies. We deal with the problem at hand. Now, a lot of people want to know, well, what is prior authorization? I've never been to the doctor before. I don't know what this means. Basically, what happens is you or the doctor will contact the insurance company and say, look, I'd like to undergo procedure X, whatever that procedure might be. And then the insurance company says, okay, you can go ahead and do that. That's prior authorization. But the insurance company always reserves the right to say, you know what, we know we told you originally you can go ahead and do it, but that doesn't mean we're going to actually pay for it. And yet, through that prior authorization process, you've given that insurance company the authority to make decisions about what you can and cannot do. Here at Healing Hands of Nebraska, there's only one person whose authority we need to proceed with whatever treatment you need, and that's you. There was a case here in the United States of a patient who died from cancer. Now, we hear about cancer deaths all the time. And unfortunately, people die from cancer. But in this case, it wasn't just the cancer that killed that poor woman. It was her insurance company. This patient came in to see her orthopedic surgeon, and she had hip pain. Her orthopedic surgeon decided that the next best course of action was to get an MRI of her hip. And so they went to get the MRI of the hip, and they went through the prior authorization process. The insurance company said, well, no, the patient doesn't need an MRI, even though the insurance company had never seen the patient, even though the insurance company had never examined the patient, even though the insurance company had never met the patient. The insurance company decided that patient didn't need the MRI, and they said, do physical therapy instead. This patient underwent physical therapy for a number of weeks, and then she came back and she still had hip pain, and then the surgeon asked for the MRI again and finally got permission to get the MRI. When they got the MRI, they found out she had cancer. Cancer which likely would have been treatable had they done the MRI when he first asked for it. But because of the delay in care, this poor woman ended up with an untreatable cancer. She ended up with an amputation and eventually died from the cancer. Why? Because of the prior authorization process. In this scenario, we had a health insurance company which was practicing medicine. They made a medical decision which ultimately hurt this woman, hurt her family, and took her life. Here at Healing Hands Nebraska, what are we interested in? We're interested in taking care of you. We don't work for the insurance company. We work for you. And you and I will partner together to find the right path, the right treatment, at the right cost for you.